Right, hello everyone. I hope everyone is good. Welcome to my kitchen again. Welcome to Tom Cook's random things in his kitchen on a weekend. I hope everyone is having a good Saturday. I'm just going to make sure that I can see all your comments. If you want to say hello in the chat, then you are more than welcome to. What we're going to do today is I'm going to put the, what's it called? I'm going to put the recipe in the chat, so just bear with me. Right, so the recipe is here, or the recipes. When he's realised that he saved the wrong thing. Hope everyone is good. Let me know how you are. Okay, so that's the recipes that we're doing today. So if you want to let me know how you are, that sort of thing. We're going to do rock cakes and homemade onion chutney and pizza crisps. Pizza crisps seem like, from what I can gather from what people have said, the most interested that people have been. And it's really easy to do. So we have all of our stuff. I have, including my wooden fork that Caroline sent to me. Hello Tamara, I hope everyone is good. So what we have is we're going to do the homemade onion chutney first. And while that's being made and created, then we're going to do the rock cakes, and then the final thing that we're going to end on is the pizza crisps, because they're the one that doesn't require too much effort or too much things to do. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all, the recipe I've put in the chat so you can follow along as you so wish. I have the recipe here as per usual, so you can kind of gauge what we're going to be doing. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to heat up. We've got a big pan here at the back, which we can go to the back camera and you can see. So we have a big pan here at the back. We are going to heat this up. So you're going to need this to be about, my dials go up to 4 to 5. So you're going to do about 4 or 5 just to heat it up. You're going to put a bit of olive oil. So 3 tablespoons of olive oil in here. So if we come back to me. Okay, so we got a bit of olive oil. You know me and my spoons. There you go. So 3 tablespoons. Put 3 tablespoons in here. I realised that my olive oil and my balsamic look pretty similar, and I have to make sure that I haven't put the wrong one in. Okay, so we should be done with the chopping board. So that should be heating up now. So if we go to the back camera, you'll be able to see that that's where the olive oil has gone in. Whoop, he says, and then misses the click. So that's where the olive oil has gone in. That's going to heat up. Now, the prep that I've done before this, before the stream, just to kind of speed things up and so you don't have to watch me cut an onion, is that I have 4 onions cut up here. So when I say cut up, I mean diced. So 4 onions diced, and then red chili pepper is what we have here. With a few seeds, but not too many seeds. You don't want too many seeds going on. Okay. So we have these, and then we're going to have the garlic. So if you're using actual garlic, you want to grate the garlic. That's what it says in the recipe. Whereas obviously for me, I just have this little jar that just uses teaspoons. Okay. I can now slowly hear the pan starting to heat up. You might be able to. I don't know. Other people have said in previous streams that they can hear like things sizzling away. So you can kind of see there, you don't want the oil too much because you don't want to flash fry it, when it goes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back now. And you want to kind of turn it down to a medium heat. So you're talking about three or four, depending on how high yours goes up. So now we're going to put this in. You're going to put in all your onion. So you want a large pan. Obviously you're making quite a lot here. And then your chili pepper. Okay, and then we're going to do the garlic. So this jar, obviously 2 cloves is just 2 spoons, and these are small enough to be filtered, like in terms of, so you don't have to grate it, it's small enough as it is. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just give this a stir, just to make sure that it's getting all the way around. Okay. And you want this on a medium heat. So you're going to be cooking this for about 15 minutes. So you don't want it too high, but you don't want it too low that it's not going to make any form of difference either. So if we come back, yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing for that to start off with. And then when the 15 minutes is finished with the cooking and stuff like that, then we add in the other ingredients. Okay, so just go back, have a little look. Now in the recipe itself, it says to add the garlic in at a later stage. I quite like garlic. So I'm quite happy for the garlic to infuse, and that's why I've done this at this stage. You can stick and put the garlic in at a later point. I just quite like anything taking the taste of garlic. Okay, so that's what it's looking like at the moment, and we're just going to have this slowly heating up. Okay. I haven't, you know, in terms of, I never really had a desire to make chutneys, but now I am. I'm starting to make chutneys. So let's come back. Okay, so we're going to come back and right. So while that's doing its thing, as you can kind of hear it sizzling away, we're going to work on these rock cakes. Okay, so we're going to need a bowl, mixing bowl here, and as I said, the recipe, so if we just do this, recipe is here for anybody that's joined in. Okay, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this with our bowl. Okay, and then if we're following the recipe, we need 230 grams of your flour. So you don't need the yeast packet because you're not making bread. So about 230 grams. I've done a little bit too much there, so I'm just going to take out a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So we are then going to do. Make sure it shuffles. Oh. Reset your scales with the bowl on it. Okay, and then we're going to add in the custard powder. So you're going to have 20 grams of custard powder. He says, getting it all over himself. You know me and my spoons. I like my spoons. So 20 grams of custard powder. Okay, 20 grams of custard powder. And then you want some egg replacer. So this is our little packet here. You're going to need a teaspoon of egg replacer. So again, if I get my nice little fork, that's a tablespoon. You think I know these spoons by now. Okay, so there's the egg replacers in there. When you're doing this, just make sure it's stirred a few times because you don't want it to go brown. You want it to keep moving. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the baking powder. So the baking powder is 1 tablespoon or teaspoon as well. Hello Sharon, how you doing? Are you still in Spain? You're just avoiding here? Good decision, good decision. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do the salt. So you just need a little pinch of salt. And a little pinch of salt. And then caster sugar. So you want 75 grams of caster sugar. And the whole idea is then you're mixing all these powders in. So again, taking a bit too much caster sugar. There you go. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to stir this round, take them off the scales. We'll need the scales in a minute just because we're going to put in the margarine. But before you add in the margarine to make it breadcrumby, you need to mix it. So all this, all the powder based stuff is basically mixed together. Yeah, the trusty wooden fork is here. I don't know what I'll be using it for. I guess towards the end of my chutney, I will use it. Just make sure you keep moving this. If it's sounding like it's a bit warm I need to put an alarm on for 10 minutes time. So let's put an alarm on. So for 10 minutes, just because it's been doing 5 minutes already. Yep, so that's there. So we're stirring in all this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add in 75 grams of hard margarine or butter, whichever one you prefer. Obviously I'm vegan, so I use margarine. Make sure you reset your scales. 75 grams of margarine. And this is the messy bit. Okay, so give your chutney a little bit of a stir before you start getting your hands messy. Okay. So we'll move this out of the way. Again, we'll need this for the dried fruits and that sort of thing. Okay, just give this a little quick stir. Okay. Right, messy bit. Fun bit for some. I'm nonplus. Obviously wash your hands before you do any of this. And the idea is that you're just making breadcrumbs out of this. Still enjoying watching me. I'm envious of your weather. I'd have a proper better tan than I do right now if I was in Spain. But yeah, it must be quite nice to see people working. So you're just rubbing this until it becomes breadcrumby across the whole thing. Good quieter addition. Yeah, the spatula is a good addition. I'll give you that. The spatula is good. Okay. So this is now starting to become like breadcrumbs. Make sure that you're getting all the mixture in. You would want to preheat the oven now. You can preheat it at the start. But my oven's quite quick. Some people's ovens can be quite short, like quite long. I know my mum's takes ages to heat up. So, turn the oven on for about 190 Celsius. Okay, so that's now all breadcrumbed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our mixed fruit, which is 100 grams. So I have a mixed fruit in this little container. And then some cinnamon. So we're going to add in 100 grams of mixed fruit. There you go. So 100 grams of mixed fruit, and we want to add in the cinnamon. So the cinnamon here is 1 tablespoon again. So it's this little 1 teaspoon, sorry. So that's okay. So you want to stir this through. I'll just give this a stir while I'm talking about stirring. So if we come back to the back now, you can kind of see how the veg is softening. Yep, so you can see how the veg is softening now. It's starting to take shape quite well, that sort of thing. In our kitchen, Adam would have had that flour flying everywhere. Swedish chef style. It's the best way to cook. People have said that I was like Swedish chef. But Swedish chef, best way to cook. Okay, so I'm going to need to make some milk. So PKU milk, obviously if you make up your milk in a different way, I have to obviously do mine powder and then add water. So I'm just going to make up my milk. You need 150 grams worth of milk, and then I'm going to make a little well for it to go into. Okay, so let's add in my milk powder to then make up my milk. Okay, add in the water. Where did I put the lid? Put the lid, there you go, put the lid there. Hi Anita, I'm doing good, how are you? How are you on this fine Saturday? So just as you've joined us, Anita, to keep you up to speed, we currently have red onions doing their thing here. So this is for the chutney. So yeah, this is for the chutney. So we've got red onions and chili pepper and garlic in there. And then what I'm currently doing is doing rock cakes while that cooks. Okay, so I've just made up milk. We've got the thing in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stir this. Yeah, so we're going to stir this round to basically make sure that all the dried fruit is covered by all the breadcrumbs that we've just created. And the cinnamon powder. Make sure there isn't any clumps. And then the idea is that you create a little well in the bottom, in the middle. And that's where you're going to pour in your 150 mils of milk. So we've been on for what, 20 minutes? It's fine. So obviously you would normally pour this out. Yeah, so that's about 150. Okay, and now then this is also the messy bit, is that you start stirring this up. So you're now mixing this up to make it into one big gloopy mixture. Okay, we shouldn't need the scales. So yeah, mixing it up into one big gloopy mixture. I am surrounded by a lot of kitchen stuff, yes. I'm doing 3 dishes, I realise, or 3 products. So yeah, so we're mixing this up. This has now become nice and gloopy, and you should have your fruit chunks quite dominant in it. We're just going to give this a stir so it doesn't stick. We're going to need a few more minutes on that. When that foam goes off, then we'll add in the other stuff that we need to add in. Okay, so that is now our rock cake mixture. All done. Then what we need to do is we're going to just grease up a baking tray, which I do back here. I'm very conscious that that person said that they hated the sound of this. Okay. So, grease this up, and now what we're going to do, Calvin Thomas become more tidier than what live streams he has done. Yeah, I'm slowly becoming more used to it. I made 2 banana breads last week and they're all gone. So I am slowly becoming better with my cooking. Right, so now we've got our spoonfuls here. We're going to add in, so you're going to literally just do a spoonful of mixture. He says, and then you can't grab it particularly well. This should make, it should make like 6 to 7 cakes. I hear you, I hear you. So we'll go to the back now, and that's for our chutney. So we've got these currently doing its thing, and then for the people that have just joined, here's the recipe. What we're now going to add in is when I find the relevant spoon, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of dark sugar. He says. And it's not cooperating. Okay. Because of the heat. So 2 tablespoons of dark sugar. There. You can add the garlic in at this stage. I added it in earlier just because I want it extra garlicky. You're going to need a pinch of salt and pepper. Okay. So we've got that. I'm just going to go get the pepper because I forgot the pepper. So make sure you're mixing this round. Bit of pepper in there. Okay, so we've got the salt, sugar and pepper, and we're going to leave this going for another 5 minutes. Okay, hopefully that's looking nice. Let me know. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to do these rock cakes, okay? So you're just pouring this on into rough heaps. Try and make them the same size, obviously, because they're just going to take a bit of time to cook. Otherwise, if they've got a variety, I think I'm still quite haphazard with my dishing up. Okay, I might actually do another tray just to be safe. I have to be careful because of my camera. Most people don't have a camera in their kitchen. Right, let's just grease this up. You want to give them enough space because obviously they're going to expand. Okay, so that's one done, as you can tell. And then we're just going to pour the extra liquid mixture in. You don't want to lose any mixture, you want to just make sure you're getting all of it. But still keep within those spaces. Okay. You can sprinkle some granulated sugar on the top if you wish. I'm not going to, but you can do. Okay, and then what we're going to do is this is going to bake. This is with some flour underneath. These two are going to bake now for 20 minutes in the oven. So we're just going to stick them in. Okay, so that's on 190 and that's going to now bake for 20 minutes, so we're going to set an alarm. The chutney's probably got about 3 more minutes left on it. The good thing with these rock cakes is that they can freeze very well, so that's pretty good. So that means that you don't have to eat them all at once, although I'd love to try and eat them all at once, and I probably will. So yeah, so while that waits, I'm just going to do a little bit of tidying up. And when I say tidying up, I mean just shove it all in the washing up, and I'll do it all later. So yeah, hopefully, just having a drink. Me and Rose Lemonade. It's like a sponsorship. Okay, so that's in. We're going to focus a little bit on the chutney, just because I'm going to show you actually, it's turning quite brown now, the chutney is at the back. There you go. So, the dark brown sugar has really started to take hold of the veg. And then after 5 minutes, we're going to add in the balsamic vinegar. Yeah, so the rock cakes might be a bit dry to eat 7 of them. I might actually freeze some of them. Want to hear more about the new job? So I obviously have been working. I'll come back. That's probably got 1 or 2 minutes, so I can tell you about the job, and then we'd add in the balsamic. So job wise, I'm now working at Leeds Arts University. So I've been working there since the start of August. Yeah. And I go into campus next week for the first time. So I'll actually feel like I'm working there rather than just doing everything from my house. So yeah, so that's pretty good. and I'm a senior lecturer, so I've upgraded, and I've run the whole of the third year in BA filmmaking. So I'm sure that they'll probably find these streams at some point, and yeah, that'd be quite funny. So yeah, I'm kind of in the planning stages of what the year's going to be like. Unfortunately, it's very hard to plan because it's like I keep using the phrase, it's like pinning or nailing jelly to a wall is currently what it's like with planning for a whole academic year in the current world circumstances. Take that as you wish. But it's a really cool job and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm also doing, it's half a week thing, so then I can do more filming. So tomorrow, why I couldn't do this stream is I'm filming like women's football for the FA. So I'm doing that tomorrow. So I will be pitch side in Leicester, unable to do any cooking from home. So that's why it's on a Saturday. This kitchen stuff. Okay, so this is now looking like it's done. And now what you want to do is you want to add in okay, so you want to add in half a cup. So I've got a big spoon that says half a cup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this to the pan, but we're going to stick the pan on a high heat. And we want to basically evaporate all of the vinegar. So, stick it on a high heat. Pour the balsamic into the spoon. Okay, and then pour it in. Okay. I'm going to stir this round. And then, if you're on a high enough heat, this should start evaporating off the balsamic. So you can slowly hear it coming up. When you're on a high heat, you want to keep stirring this, okay? So this is why I haven't got anything else going on while we're doing this. So you can see it bubbling away, hopefully. Just make sure that you keep stirring it, making sure that all the veg is going to be soaking in this balsamic. Because I can, I'll use my fork. Look at that. Less scraping, all this. Okay, so now this is bubbling away. Maybe 6 is a bit much, but you could do it on 5. The idea is you're trying to get rid of all this balsamic vinegar. So you actually want all this steam. You want it to evaporate off. So it's bubbling away. What do people think to this chutney? Does it look nice? Does it sound interesting to do? It smells very nice, but I'm a big fan of vinegar, so maybe I'm the target demographic. You never know. So that's bubbling away, as you can see. So as you've probably noticed from the start, it's slowly getting darker and darker. Yeah, it says a third actually. Yeah, I might need to boil off a bit more. Keeping me honest. Keeping me honest. Okay. It looks terrific. Yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. We're having to bubble up for quite a lot. Me and my measurements. I don't think I have a third spoon. So, for reference, okay, for reference while that's doing its thing, the red one is a quarter, and the yellowy one is a half. Okay, so you want something in between these two. I put in that, so that's why mine's going to be very balsamic. But that's not a problem. I quite like balsamic dressing. Okay, so keep stirring this. The liquid is slowly going, and you can kind of hear it too. You can hear a lot more of a sizzle, which means there's a lot less liquid between the vegetables and the pan. Yeah, it's looking nice though. What do people think? People think it looks nice? Okay, so once this is done, we are then going to... Who are you interviewing next? I don't know the interviews. Smells nice. I don't know yet. I've got to have a think. I was kind of waiting for my schedule. If you can hear me over the loud sizzling, I was kind of waiting for my schedule to even out so that I could work out how much time I have to do these things. But yeah, obviously I do the cooking for Cambook. Tom's Kitchen will always continue because this is more long form things that I couldn't do for the Cambook things. And then the interviews will happen when I can do it, that sort of thing. So we'll have to see. Is my answer with that. I don't know who yet, but once things are started to settle down a bit more, then I'm sure I can. So we're just going to go back. This is nearly done, I would say. It's taken a little bit longer just because obviously I put in a bit too much balsamic. What are you going to do? Apart from have a very balsamic-y, like chutney. Okay. So there isn't much liquid now. Yeah. So once you reach this stage, what you want to do then is, if you come back, so once you've reached this stage, what you want to do is then you want to turn off the hob. You just want it to let it settle for about 5 minutes with the stove completely turned off. Okay, so we're going to do that now, and then that will let the flavours seep into it and get all the flavours of all the stuff that's in the pan. Okay. So, yeah, Anita, if you have any ideas about who I can interview, sign them up. Okay, so then we're just going to turn off this hob. You don't want to basically, with this, because then we're going to do the pizza crisps. With this, you don't want to take it completely off the heat. You want the heat to just cool down. So cool down in the sense of cook it but slowly reduce. So you can obviously take it off the hob and that will completely just kill any heat going into the pan. But the idea is you want the temperature to slowly but surely reduce. And that's why you're leaving it going for about 5 minutes. Okay, so that's the recipe, remember. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to do pizza crisps. Okay, so I'm just going to go get the toppings I'm going to have for my pizza crisps. Okay, whoop. I keep trying not to basically shut my door because it will knock the camera. So, pizza crisps. What is it? And how do we do it? So I found this in a PKU book. It doesn't require any tomato or any of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our pizza base. Okay, so we're going to chop open our pizza base. And obviously this is going to go in the oven once... Oh, that's loud. This is going to go in the oven once your rock cakes are done. Okay, so my rock cakes have about 5 minutes left. Okay. So the rock cakes have about 5 minutes left, so this is where we're going to be doing our pizza crisps. So you can have a base to start off with. Then you're going to get some olive oil. And I'm actually going to put a bit of olive oil. What do you think? Yeah, it's brilliant news about Georgie winning Student of the Year. I voted, so I'm glad that it's, you know, that's happened. Okay, so that's really good. I've said to her that I hope that she either gets money or a trophy, and she seems to say that she's going to get a trophy. So that's good. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we've poured the olive oil into, you can either pour it into a container or I've done it into one of my little small bowls, but you can do it into anything. And then what you want to do is you want to brush, this is why I have my brush, you want to brush the pizza base with your oil. Okay, so you might need a bit more, it depends on... So you want to brush your pizza base and cover it all with the oil. Okay, so that's that. So now you've got basically a really oily base. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, there is in the recipe, if I read them out here, you can either have sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. You can have mixed herbs. You could have paprika or cayenne pepper. I'm having paprika. Dried oregano, basil or crushed garlic. Or dried rosemary and crushed garlic. Okay, so they're the toppings that you could have on this pizza. Okay, so I'm going to have paprika. So I've got my little paprika packet here. I'm going to go for a little bit of spice. And then what you want to do is you want to basically top your pizza with whatever topping you want. Make sure it's even. Okay, so that's my... I'm going to have paprika pizza crisps. You can have various different herbs. Again, as I think as it's already been mentioned, cooking is about experimenting. So try things out by all means. Okay, now what we're going to do to make these the crisp base is that we're going to chop them up before they go in to the oven. Okay, so you're going to chop it in half. Okay, then you're going to chop each half into small little strips. And this is where I go really badly with the evenness of these strips. So I'm just going to do big chunks. Okay, you don't need to do them this big. The whole point though is that they're even. And that was not even. Okay, so you can do 12 slices apparently, but I'm just going to do 6 big chunky slices. Okay, so. We're going to do 4. There we go. So now we have our little slices. Okay. So the slices are then going to go. So you can either do a light baking sheet, which is fine. I'm just using a little mesh here. It says. So the mesh will separate this from the tray, and that's the whole point. So the baking sheet, that's all it does. So you want to put on these little pizza base, or pizza crisps. That's an odd shape. And we're going to not have this, not going to put this one in, because this one's too small, it will cook far too quick. So that's what we have now of our little pizza crisps. I would eat that, but it's going to be just not cooked. Okay, so then once, almost as if by magic, okay, then we're going to go check on the rock cakes, and then these pizza crisps, they're on the same temperature as the rock cakes, okay, and then we're just going to literally put them in for about 10-15 minutes. Okay, so let's go check on the rock cakes. And if you can see now, I'll show you what the chutney's looking like. So the chutney's stopped moving. And then we kind of just want this to cool now. So you want a little bit, it's going to have a bit of liquid. You're not trying to go for it to be dry. Chutney does have liquid. Hi Ned, how you doing? If that's Ned, Caroline or Hannah. Either one. Or either 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check the rock cakes. Hey, they've expanded. So that is our rock cakes. Very odd, different shapes. Yeah, they're squidgy to touch. That's the idea. We're not looking for them to be hard. Okay, so I'm going to put them on here. I'll get the other lot out. So Caroline, Ned, or Hannah, we are. We've just chopped up ready to pull in the pizza crisps. We've just brought out the rock cakes, and at the back here we have our red onion chutney, which is then going to be wait to be dished up, ready with the pizza crisps. Yeah, I think it is looking like jar chutney, which is pretty cool. So these pizza crisps are going in for about 10-15 minutes. So I'm just going to put them in. Okay, we're going to put an alarm for about 14 minutes, so that's in between. Yeah. I'm going to move that. I'm going to move this camera so you can see the top. So you can see the surface of the mirror. Dancing with the camera. There's some holes. Okay. Okay, so let me just wipe the surface. Okay, so just going to give this surface a little bit of a wipe. And then I'll get the cooling tray. And we're going to put these rock cakes on it. Okay. So, rock cake wise. Let's switch to the other camera so you can see it. So you should see my surface now, it's a little bit bright. There you go. So, cooling tray. Loud noises. So we got a cooling tray. Rock cake number 1. Rock cake number 2. Rock cake number 3. We might be running out of space, but we'll give it a go. Rock cake number 4. I feel like I'm doing like Top of the Pops or something like that. I need an extra baking tray. There's a lot of things that I make, Anita, that would go with your cup of tea. They're a little bit crumbly, so maybe the heat was a little bit high. But there you go. And I can testify, because I've been having little bits while I've been bringing them across. They're very nice. Okay, so there are rock cakes. So then, what we're going to do is our chutney. Remember these rock cakes, so if we come to the front. So remember these rock cakes can be frozen. So, you don't have to try and eat all 8. I'm going to try and eat a few, but not all 8. And yeah, and then, what's it called? So you can freeze half of them or freeze most of them. So what I'm going to do with this bowl now is, this is for the chutney. So we're just going to get a little spoon. Or one of these little things. And then we're just going to bring out the chutney. So then if we go back to the other angle, that's our chutney. So if we zoom in, yep, so that's our chutney. So the idea with this chutney is we've made this chutney to go with the pizza crisps. So this is going to be your accompaniment to the pizza crisp. So you can dip it in. You can have a salsa and stuff like that if you don't want to make the chutney. But it's all about having this as an accompaniment to your pizza crisps. Okay, so that's what we have. So we'll come back. Oh, and you can see a more close-up thing of the rock cake, if you so wish to get envious about what we're seeing. Yeah, so my oven is quite powerful. So sometimes you have to go under what the recipe says. You can, so a tip by how you can tell that this is a bit over on the heat is you see all the cracks. So you see the cracks. That means your heat is trying to escape, and yeah, you can get a few of them on your loaves and that sort of thing. But the whole idea with it is that you don't want too many, because then that shows that it's overheated and it's trying to, there's too much heat for it to deal with. So obviously these would be a bit high in temperature, especially like this one and stuff like that. But it's useful for you to know, for especially when you're making anything with PKU flour. That's the same with breads, that's the same with cakes, that sort of thing. If it's on too high of a heat, that's when it starts to expand. So we'll come back to the front. So yeah, that's my rock cakes, and that's your chutney. So actually, out of the chutney, you can see how much it's plastic, it's not metal, people. Okay, so we kind of come out with this amount of portions. So if we bring it back, move this, move that, back. Okay, so you can see how many. So we've actually got two quite even portions of the chutney going on. What's the texture of the rock cakes like? So I can have, which one? This one? Right. Chewy, but crumbly. It's quite a weird texture. It's nice. But yeah, chewy but crumbly is how I would describe them, Anita. So these pizza crisps go out 5 more minutes. So I'm just going to do a little check on what the pizza crisps are looking like. Literally a couple of minutes, I would say, left on these. So yeah, you're just going to watch me eat rock cakes now. What we got? Looking good. Looks amazing, Tom, especially the chutney. Looks good. Ah, you can have it with Marge. I'm just going to have it without Marge. But yeah, you can have it with Marge. Welcome to my weird dinner. This is what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, we literally got a couple of minutes left on the pizza crisps. So I'm going to get a plate out actually. Just for presentation of the pizza crisps. And then that will be it. This might be actually, you know, quite an efficient stream for once. Should be crumbly but chewy. Yep, it is crumbly and chewy. Yeah, it's quite weird. It is like, the middle's chewy, but the edges, obviously, because it's got a bit like hardened, is that's the crumbly bit. So I would approve. I obviously approve everything that I cook. But I do love a cake. So I am a sucker for a cake. So these are nearly done. Probably one more minute. Obviously it says 10 to 15 minutes. My oven is quite effective, so, and it already cooked something before heading in. So when it says 10 to 15 minutes, so I'll put the recipe up again just so people can see. When it says 10 to 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be entirely that whole 15 minutes. Okay, so we're going to get these out now. Okay, so then we have they're very warm to touch. And the idea is you're cooking them until they are golden brown, which they have turned. Which, if you know PKU cooking, is quite hard to do. Oh, you can tell that I'm not great at cooking. Doing specific shapes. So, let me show you what these look like from this camera. Okay, so if we zoom out. Hello. Come on there, camera. Like you. You're drunk. Okay. Right, so. Move that out of the way. So these are what I do wonder what your new students will think when they find these streams. Yeah, they are crunchy, Ned. They are crunchy. So it's hitting a lot of boxes. I wonder what your students will think when they find these streams. Don't really care. I think they know that I'll be weird and that I eat weird stuff and that sort of thing, so it's my obviously YouTubing career. I think it's pure gold, yes. So there they are. They are apart from this one got cut out a bit ropily. So that's what they are really. No, that's even worse in the presentation. So there are pizza crisps. They are a lot harder, so I don't know if you can hear that. It's a lot harder as a pizza, so that's why they're crisps. And because you haven't used tomato, they're a lot crunchier to taste. So what do people think? You can obviously have any toppings. You could have herbs on this, that sort of thing. And then if I have, this is going to be quite warm though. It's nice. So mine, obviously I chose paprika on mine, so I'm slowly going to die of heat. They're already out. I'm going to slowly die of heat, but it's really nice, as you can hear. They're very crunchy, and then obviously what you can do, and this is what you all turned up to do, is just to watch me eat. Dip in a bit in the chutney. Yeah. Oh, the paprika comes out there. Whew. Oh, and obviously I put chili in the chutney. So yeah, very nice. Very nice. That is my dinner. Not all the rock cakes. All the pizza stuff, that is a dinner and the chutney. But the rock cakes I will have as a dessert, so to speak. So yeah, what do people think? I'll show you a close-up picture of the crisps again. So that's what they look like. And then you have them with like your chutney dip. Look. Oh, there you go. So, a recap of, because I know especially Hannah was mentioning this to me, and I've just dropped my mouse. Hello. Fancy being this close. So there was a lot of buzz about what is pizza crisps, that sort of thing. Really easy. So you literally just take a pizza base of any brand. I use Movella, but you can use a pizza base of any brand. I think the actual recipe was intended to be low protein. So any pizza base. Don't put any smart topping on it. Brush it with olive oil. Then you put your topping of whatever your description. So I obviously quite like heat, but you can do herbs and that sort of thing. You can have a chutney to the side, but if you really want to be lazy, you can have a salsa on the side. Hey sissy. Yeah. So, and then you put it in, you chop it up before you put it into the oven. The reason why you chop it up before you put it into the oven is because you want these edges to go hard. If you put it in all as one pizza, naturally the pizza base in the middle of it is softer, whereas the heat can go around all edges of this. And yeah, you can have a chutney, you can have a salsa, and then 10-15 minutes later you've got pizza crisps, which I think is a really interesting way of spicing up your pizza base, so to speak. So yeah, garlic infused oil, basil, herbs. Yeah, people can use herbs, that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I've done. So we've done rock cakes, chutneys. I'll take pictures and obviously put them on social media. And then you've got your pizza crisps. So hopefully that is interesting and you've found it useful and the stuff looks good to try. If you do try it, let me know. Yeah, they're really easy recipes and obviously none of this again is costing anything with exchanges. Or too much, to be honest, although there's quite a lot of like products and stuff like that. Not too much on the products front either. So yeah, hope everybody has a good rest of a Saturday. Thank you for joining me for me to cook my dinner. And yeah, have a good time. I think my next cooking stream is the Can Book one in I think 2 Thursdays time, and then Tom's Kitchen will be back at the end of the month, sort of thing. But the Can Book one is a special, all based around one item, one veg. Loads of dishes based around one veg. So all will be revealed in the future. But yeah, cheers for coming. Thank you for your time, and yeah, have a great rest of the day. Cheers, guys. Bye.